if it reached the petrol tank, the car could have blown up. My daughter's bedroom was just above it.
In March 2017, somebody came and threw what appeared to be petrol on a car outside our house and basically tried to burn the car and the house down. Now, the following video is a BBC CrimeWatch video that was done to try and help catch who this arsonist was. I just want to explain a little bit about the video and the circumstances before I show it, because the video is kind of just, you know, the CrimeWatch perspective of it. It doesn't really tell you much about anything else. So 2015 or thereabouts, a person who worked for me, who was a police informant named Paul Turner, threatened to kill my wife and children, and he said he would do it in such a way that it would leave me so traumatised for the rest of my life that I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. Now, Paul Turner was dismissed. And after the arson attack happened, when the police came to the house, they asked if anybody had made any threats or if I had any suspicions who it might be, and I told them clearly that Paul Turner had made these threats to kill my family. And the police officer told me, well, that's not enough information for us to go and talk to somebody now, is it? Now, this was witnessed by the chief fire officer, who looked at me with a shocked look on his face, as if to say, hang on, somebody's just tried to burn this guy's house down, kill his family, and yet the one person who's made these threats to kill him is not even going to be interviewed. So the police officer in the CrimeWatch video was the officer in charge. Now, if you look in the CrimeWatch video, you'll notice that the arsonist actually puts his hand on a painted gloss post. Now, that would be in the ideal contact for a fingerprint, but this police officer never thought to get forensics out to get a fingerprint test, to take fingerprints. Only after about 30 days and a complaint to a chief superintendent, or a superintendent, Eddie Thistlethwaite, that they decided to send forensics out. Forensics team turned up 30 days later, took swabs and fingerprint samples and said there's absolutely no way that they can lift fingerprints because it's been too long. So that was an opportunity lost. Another incident, we know that the arsonist came from a specific direction down the road, and I asked the officer in charge if he had actually been down the road in which the vehicle had travelled, to see if he had checked for CCTV cameras on people's houses, because that would probably show the car. And he told me that he'd been down the road, he'd knocked on every door with a CCTV camera, but unfortunately every camera that was there, the owners had told him that the footage is overwritten. So I was a bit concerned about this, because I actually know one of the people who lives down that road, and they hadn't told me that the police had knocked, which I thought they would have done. So I went down, did my own inquiries. I knocked at every single house with CCTV. I think there was 4, and not one of them said the police had been to the house and asked. One of them specifically has high definition cameras because of speeding past their house, and they've actually put them there so that they can actually catch cars speeding and give the number plates to the police. And the police are aware of this premises as well. They know that this one has cameras capable of seeing number plates. But I was told that the police had looked at all these cameras and that no footage existed. Yet when I went down there, I was told no police had been down there. And the last point I'd like to make about this, no, 2 more points. One point is, I approached BBC CrimeWatch myself and asked them if they'd like to cover this arson attack. I felt that the police weren't doing much about it. And when I contacted them, they contacted me back and said, oh, we've actually been trying to contact you. We've been in touch with Lancashire Police and we've been asking them if they can put us in touch with you. And they haven't. The question is, why wouldn't Lancashire Police want BBC CrimeWatch to cover this? So this was my doing. I got CrimeWatch involved. After the BBC CrimeWatch video, a couple of other people came into the loop. Now, one of them was Neil Wilkes and another one was Darren Hogan. Now, these 2 people are intrinsically linked to Paul Turner through being trolls. Darren Hogan had apparently had a burn injury on his hand from the day at the time of the arson attack. He had a bandage on it, and he posted pictures of this in a way almost like antagonising, and this was witnessed by his ex-partner, who actually saw the burn on his hand. Another person who Darren Hogan was in contact with was a female who lives in London who contacted me, and Darren Hogan had told her that he was the arsonist. Now, I'm not saying that he is, I'm only saying what I know. Finally, Neil Wilkes has posted information on the internet saying that he knows who the arsonist is. Police haven't interviewed him. He even put a post on the internet saying he visited the arsonist at some point or delivered something to him. The police haven't interviewed him or asked him. And if they have, he hasn't divulged it. Why? Why wouldn't he? Neil Wilkes and Darren Hogan are friends, and all of them are in some way connected to Paul Turner. So before you watch the BBC CrimeWatch video, which will follow this, please like and subscribe and share this video, and hopefully one day the arsonist will be caught. If you have any information, by the way, about this, I will put a crime reference number below, so you can contact or report information directly to the police, or send it to me. Send it directly to me on this channel, and I'll make sure the police get it, and I will do some investigations as well. So as I say, thanks for watching. Watch the video, leave your comments below.
Time now for our first appeal of the day, and it involves a serious fire outside a family home. Appallingly, the blaze was started deliberately.
The Ponting family have lived in Ormskirk, Lancashire for 20 years.
The kids were born and brought up in this area, and they never want us to move. Daniel is 16, Olivia is nearly 14, and they're both doing great at school and happy kids.
On March the 8th, the family were at home.
It was a normal night. I'd picked Olivia up from football training, parked the car on the drive.
We generally sit around the table for tea, and then most nights we'll sit in the back lounge and we'll watch a bit of TV.
The children went to bed. Just a really normal night.
By midnight, everyone was asleep except Paul.
I'd decided to have a read of a book or an audio book, so I'd sat in the front room. At some point I'd nodded off.
But the family's peace did not last.
The dogs woke me up. They obviously heard something, and they generally are quiet at night. So just the fact that the dogs barked, I'd opened my eyes and noticed that the whole room was illuminated. I thought it was actually some emergency workers outside because it was bright orange and flashing.
Confused, Paul went to the window.
But when I looked out the window, the car was on fire. And it was quite a big fire. It was total shock.
Adrenaline kicked in as Paul rushed to protect his family.
First thing was really just to make sure that the kids and Nana were safe, get them out of the house.
Next thing I knew, Paul woke me up. The car's on fire. I was just in shock, like trying to wake up.
He rang the fire brigade and the family rushed downstairs, but they soon realised there was no way past the wall of flames.
The smell was just, it was disgusting. It was rubber and plastics burning.
Trapped and fearing for their safety, the family had one last option.
We'd open the back door and so that the kids can go out into the garden. I told them to stay in the back area into the garden to try and keep away in case the house caught fire, knowing how quickly it could probably spread.
My daughter was crying. It was like, who would do that to us? And yeah, it was just shock.
Meanwhile, the fire was getting closer.
The fire brigade only took 6 minutes to come. If it reached the petrol tank, the car could have blown up. My daughter's bedroom was just above it. Oh, just doesn't bear thinking about what could have happened.
CCTV from the night of the arson has led detectives to believe this was a targeted attack.
And an offender who can be seen running to the address pours accelerant on the bonnet of one of the cars, and that quickly ignites, causing damage to the vehicle. Obviously quite alarming and distressing for the family inside, who were very shaken up by it and were very keen to trace the persons responsible.
Seeing the fire marks outside, you don't really get to forget about it. It's kind of always on your mind.
And the thought that somebody could do that, knowing there's children in the house, I just can't stand it. It's frightening, very frightening.
It's affected the kids, I think. Olivia's asked some questions which makes you think that, you know, it's on her mind.
Came into the room and told me to wake up because the car was on fire, and I was so confused, and I was like, who would do that?
The main thing I was more frightened about was if the fuel in the car got caught, because it's that close to the house that we were like, I was just thinking, if that goes up, the house good.
I try and act normally for the kids because I don't want them to think I'm frightened, and it's just not knowing who's done that, and the kids are saying, oh, is it going to happen again? And we're like, no, it won't happen again, and we haven't got a clue who did it in the first place, so it could happen again.
DS Stephen Monk from Lancashire Constabulary joins me now. Stephen, we saw in the film here just how distressed the family were at the fact that this could happen again. I mean, just how dangerous could this arson attack have been?
Yes, the car was parked in the driveway of the family home, directly underneath the daughter's bedroom. The flames quickly spread to the surrounding bushes and could have easily spread to the house too.
Now, the CCTV indicates that it might have been a targeted attack?
Yes, that's right. The offender arrived in a vehicle which we believe to be a Vauxhall Astra. They made directly to the driveway before setting fire to the vehicle. You will see in the CCTV footage that the suspect has an unusual running style, and it may sound strange, but I would urge any viewers that know of anybody who has a run like that to contact us.
And what else might we know about the offender which might help to identify them?
Well, when the fire was lit, it ignited very quickly, which may have caused flash burns on the hands or face of the offender. So I would urge any viewers, if they know of any family or friends that may have had unexplained burns, to contact us straight away.
Now, the family are offering a reward, aren't they, for any information?
Yes, that's right. The family are offering a reward of up to £5,000 for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the suspect.
And we saw in the film, you know, I mentioned earlier, this has really affected them. They just want some answers.
Yes, very distressing, very upsetting for the family, and we urge the viewers to help us catch the suspect involved.
Stephen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Raf.
Thanks, Michelle. Do take another look at this despicable arsonist. Do you recognise him? If so, you know what to do.